So beside me is my conversation partner. This is Chad Abbott. He, like many others, has a whole lot of titles. But Chad's journey with St. Peter's has been a really fascinating one, and you hold sort of dual roles in our congregation and in our conference. So, Chad, why don't you tell us what we might want to know? Or what you want to tell us. And then if I want you to wrestle with something else, I will let you know.
I know you will. St. Peter's, it's so good to be with you today. And my name is Chad Abbott, as Lori said. So I'm the conference minister for the Indiana-Kentucky Conference. And I was actually ordained at St. Peter's and came through the ordination process through St. Peter's. In fact, I have my stole that was given to me by St. Peter's, my St. Peter's stole,
Yay!
given to me by Elizabeth Rowe. And what a gift that was. And so I was ordained at St. Peter's in 2011, and so it's coming up close to a decade now. And served a church in Kentucky. I know, served a church in Kentucky for 6 years, and then came back here in 2017 to be the conference minister. My family attends St. Peter's, and for the 11 o'clock service when we had one at 11. And my wife Shannon is a yoga teacher, works at First Congregational here in town. Also ordained, and then we have two kids, Solomon and Issa, and a little dog, Zoe.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. Y'all might hear Zoe. The kids are probably okay, yes. But Zoe might be heard. So if you're one of our pet lovers out there, yes. just you wait.
Entirely possible.
And Chad, when you talk about the conference, tell us what the conference is for those who are newer to the UCC or who have been around a long time and might have known it in a different iteration. Tell us what the conference looks like.
Well, to me, the conference is a covenant connection of all of our churches threaded together. And so we are one part of that covenant as a church at St. Peter's. And there are 129 other churches that are also in the whole state of Indiana, as well as 90% of Kentucky. And all of us are in a region together where we have a vision that as Jill Olinger is one of as our board chair, we have a mission statement that ends with "to love and serve like Jesus" is kind of our mission. And so together we all do that a little bit differently. So how a church might do that in Gary, Indiana, is going to be different from Carmel, or different from Lamar, Indiana, or a part in Kentucky. But we are called to love and serve like Jesus, to be in covenant with each other. So our role in the conference office is to connect and equip all of these churches to be in that kind of covenant. And we are a part, as a conference, are a part of even a wider connection with the United Church of Christ. But we're just one little small piece of it, and we play a pretty big role, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I think is so cool about this, I don't know that we look too much at which scriptures would match up with which partners along the way, but you and I have had a lot of conversations as pastors, as colleagues, as friends, about how much wrestling we are doing with just what it means to be church in a pandemic and in a season of civil unrest, and in a time when everything feels upside down or unknown or all of the above. And so I'm really grateful that you and I get to talk about this passage where Jacob is wrestling, because I think you and I are both doing that. I mean, we're wrestling with what it means to be a local church that it isn't using its building for worship, and what it means to be a conference in which some churches can do worship one way and some can do it another, and some are being the church in totally different ways. I think there's opportunity in that if we're willing to risk new relationships, but I also think it's exhausting, kind of like wrestling, right? It's exhausting. And the best wrestlers come up with new moves or use the unexpected moves when they need them most. And I think that's a pretty good metaphor for not only individual churches, but our conference right now. And I imagine you would agree with that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think there's a sense of resiliency that comes with any kind of sport, right? I mean, not whether it's wrestling or any sport, there's a sense of which your body becomes exhausted, but you have to adjust, right? And so I was growing up, I was a track runner and a cross country runner. And so you could never really run any race the same exact way. I mean, you like, and your body responds to everything differently every time you run, and so it's always about adjustments. And so for me, it's about the kind of resiliency we find in the struggle, and the wrestle, whether it's church or a pandemic, or what it means to be church in this century, or the racial unrest we're seeing. I mean, all of that stuff takes adjustments and resiliency of spirit, to get
Yeah.
through.
And I hadn't thought about this in a while, but it's true. If I put on my musician hat, I'm a bassoonist, and most of you have not heard me play. I have promised our music folks that my bassoon is getting tuned up and it will be played
Very good.
sometime.
Trombone over here.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So we might have a duet coming. Just you wait, folks.
That's right.
Um, but the thing is, like, you wrestle with the music as a musician, right?
Yeah.
And it feels different every time you play it. And
Yeah.
it depends where you play. It depends how you're feeling that morning. I mean, it is like a sport in that you can't run the race in the same way. You can't make the same basketball moves and have it all happen
Right.
the same way. So that's the nature of wrestling that we are talking about, and we're also keenly aware that many who are with us this morning are wrestling with their own stuff.
Yeah.
We know that many of you are making decisions about school. Many of you are wrestling with mental health. I've been receiving multiple calls with people who are wrestling with illnesses among family members, just all the things that are affected, and even wrestling with being in the same spaces over and
Mm.
over and over again. So,
Mhm.
this metaphor is so powerful for right now, and the bad thing about that is Chad and I could talk for way too long. The
Yes, we
good
could.
thing for all of you is that we have a plan.
Yes.